In a distant galaxy, among swirling stars and bright nebulae, there was a small spaceship called the Star Seeker. It was a simple ship designed for exploration, and it carried 5 brave explorers from the planet Viridian. They were known as the Viridians, a curious and adventurous people. The crew consisted of Captain Zara, the wise and fearless leader, Tali, the cheerful engineer, Rian, the intelligent scientist, Mira, the skilled pilot, and Jor, the brave medic. One day, while exploring the stars, the Star Seeker encountered a strange cosmic storm. Swirling winds of dust and energy filled the space around them. The crew tried to navigate the storm, but it was too powerful. Suddenly, a bolt of energy struck the ship, causing it to malfunction. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the crew struggled to keep control. The ship spun dangerously, and then everything went black. When the crew woke up, they found themselves adrift in an unfamiliar part of the universe. The Star Seeker had been damaged, and several systems were down. They floated silently in the darkness of space, unsure where they were or if they could ever return home. Captain Zara gathered her crew in the main cabin. "We need to assess the damage and find a way to fix the ship," she said, her voice steady. The crew nodded, determination shining in their eyes. They were far from home, but despair would not defeat them. Tali moved quickly to the engine room. She examined the broken wires and spark panels, her hands working deftly to salvage what she could. Rian studied the ship systems, tried to understand how they could send a distress signal. Mira checked the navigational charts, hoping to find a nearby planet to land on. Jor prepared medical supplies, just in case they needed to treat any injuries. After hours of work, Tali returned with a grim report. "The ship is in bad shape. We need to land on a planet to make repairs, but the nearest one is not showing any life forms." Rian frowned. "We can't just drift in space. We have to try." Mira adjusted the ship's controls and set a course for the planet. As they descended, the crew's hearts raced with a mix of fear and hope. They had no idea what kind of world awaited them below. When they landed, they stepped out of the Star Seeker and were greeted by a strange, vibrant world. The sky was a soft lavender shade, and the ground was covered in lush blue grass. Tall, shimmering trees with golden leaves swayed gently in the breeze. The air was fresh, filled with unfamiliar scents and sounds. "I've never seen anything like this," Jor marveled, taking in the beauty around them. But as they ventured further, they realized something was not right. There were no signs of civilization, no buildings, no technology, and no people. As the days passed, the crew searched for food and water. They learned to harvest fruit from the trees and fish from crystal-clear streams. They shared stories, laughed, and grew closer. Captain Zara encouraged them to stay positive, reminding them that they would find a way home. One evening, as they gathered around a small fire, Mira spotted something unusual in the sky. A distant ship, much larger than the Star Seeker, descended from the clouds, landing not far from their camp. The crew exchanged excited glances. Perhaps they had found help after all. Cautiously, the Viridians approached the ship. It was unlike anything they had seen, a sleek craft with glowing symbols on its surface. As they drew closer, a hatch opened and a ramp descended. From inside, a group of beings emerged. They were tall and slender, with skin that glimmered under the planet's light. Their eyes sparkled like stars, full of curiosity and kindness. The leader of the group stepped forward, and in a melodic voice spoke, "Welcome, travelers. We are the Elorians. We saw your ship fall and came to offer aid." Zara stepped forward, feeling a mix of relief and joy. "We are stranded. Our ship is damaged, and we need help to repair it." The Elorian leader nodded, understanding their plight. "Come, let us assist you." For days, the Elorians worked alongside the Viridians. They showed them advanced tools and techniques, and together they fixed the Star Seeker. The two groups learned from each other, sharing stories and laughter. The Elorians fascinated the Viridians with their knowledge of the stars and the universe. As the repairs drew to an end, Rian developed a special bond with one of the Elorians, named Lyra. She was curious and intelligent, and together they discussed the wonders of science and the mysteries of the cosmos. Rian felt a spark of friendship growing, one he had never expected to find so far from home. Finally, the day came when the Starseeker was fully repaired. The crew gathered to thank their new friends. Zara stood before the Elorians, her heart full of gratitude. "We will never forget your kindness. You saved us when we were lost among the stars." The Elorian leader smiled. "You are not just travelers. You are now part of our extended family. Visit us again, and we will explore the stars together." With a final farewell, the crew of the Star Seeker climbed aboard their ship. As the engines roared to life, they felt a mix of excitement and sadness. They were heading home, but they knew they had left behind friends on this beautiful planet. The ship lifted off, soaring into the sky. As they flew away, Mira glanced back at the stunning world below, the golden trees shining under the light of twin suns. "We were abandoned among the stars, but Earth welcomed us in ways we never imagined," she whispered to her friends. Zara nodded, a smile on her face. "The universe is full of unexpected wonders. We may wander, but connections we make guide us home." The crew set a course for Viridian, their hearts light with new friendships, adventure, and hope for the future. They had ventured into the unknown, but they had found a place where they belonged, among the stars. In the distant future, a small spaceship named the Starbound drifted silently among the stars. It had once been the pride of the Galactic Alliance, a shining symbol of hope and exploration. But now, it was a forgotten relic, its crew abandoned and left afloat aimlessly in the void of space. A malfunction had caused the crew to lose contact with Earth, and no help had come. They were alone, cast away like so many toys after the kids had grown up. The crew consisted of 4 brave explorers. Captain Alara, a fierce leader with a fiery spirit. Jax, the ship's engineer, who could fix anything. Mira, the talented pilot, whose dreams of fly were finally realized. And Lien, the ship's medic, kind and calm, always providing comfort to them all. Together, they had faced many adventures, but none compared to the fear of being abandoned in the void. One fateful day, the ship's power began to dwindle. Jax checked the control panel, his worry growing. "We only have enough energy for one more jump," he said, his brow furrowed. "If we don't find a planet soon, we will be lost forever." Alara took a deep breath, trying to remain hopeful. "We have to decide quickly. Mira, can you check the scanners? Are there any planets close by?" Mira sat down at her station, her hands moving swiftly over controls. After a moment, she smiled faintly. "There's a planet, but it's quite a distance away. We could reach it if we make the jump now." "Let's do it," Alara decided. "It's our only chance." With a nod, Mira prepared the ship for the hyperspace jump. The rest of the crew strapped themselves into their seats, the atmosphere tense but filled with a flicker of hope. As the ship lurched forward into hyperspace, they all held their breath. Moments later, they emerged from the warp, the vastness of the galaxy stretching before them. But instead of the bustling stars, they saw a vibrant green and blue planet, twinkling like a jewel. "Earth," Jax whispered, his voice full of awe. As they approached, they felt a wave of excitement. They had long dreamed of returning home, and now it seemed like a dream come true. "I can't believe we're back," Mira said, her eyes sparkling with joy. But their happiness was short-lived. The ship was low on energy, and critical systems were failing. As they entered the atmosphere, alarms blared. Jax worked frantically to keep the ship steady. "I can't control it. We're going down." "Everyone, brace for impact," Alara shouted as the Starbound hit the ground with a loud crash, rolling to a stop in a field surrounded by towering trees. The crew sat in stunned silence for a moment. "Is everyone okay?" Lien asked, quickly checking on each of them. They nodded, shaken but safe. As they stepped out of the ship, they were taken aback by the beauty surrounding them. The air was fresh, and green grass stretched as far as they could see. Bright blue skies hung overhead, dotted with fluffy clouds. It was blissful and familiar. However, they also felt a pang of anxiety. They had been gone from Earth for years, and they didn't know how things had changed. Would they be welcomed back? "Let's find out," Alara said, her resolve returning. They walked into nearby town. Small houses lined the streets, and people were bustling about their daily routines. No one looked at them at first, which made Alara anxious. As they reached a small square, a group of children ran past, giggling. One of the children stopped suddenly, staring wide-eyed at the newcomers. "Look, are you from space?" The question broke the tension. Alara knelt down to the child's level, a smile breaking across her face. "Yes, we are from a spaceship called Starbound." The child's face lit up with excitement, and soon a crowd began to gather. The townspeople had heard the commotion and came to see what was happening. An elderly woman approached, her eyes warm and kind. "Welcome back, explorers. We heard legends of your journey, but we thought you were lost forever." Jax felt a wave of relief wash over him. "We were, but we made it back. We thought we would never see Earth again." The elderly woman smiled. "You're home now. We have been waiting for your return." As the crew shared their tales of adventure and the stars, they felt a sense of belonging. The townspeople listened with rapt attention, and soon laughter and applause filled the air. Alara realized this could be the start of something new. Days turned into weeks as the crew settled down in the town. They shared knowledge about space and technology with the people, who were eager to learn. In return, the townsfolk taught them about Earth's rich history and the beauty of simple life. Mira took to flying again, this time using small aircraft that helped transport goods. Lien volunteered at the local clinic, helping people and sharing medical knowledge. Jax began teaching the children how to build and repair things, igniting their curiosity in engineering. Alara found herself leading community projects, planning explorations of the beautiful nature surrounding them. While they had once feared abandonment among the stars, they now found acceptance and warmth on Earth. Each day brought them closer to their roots, and each night they would gather under the stars they had once sailed through, whispering about their adventures and the wonders of the universe. Though they had traveled far and faced many dangers, they discovered that home was not just a place, but a feeling. They had been abandoned among the stars, but Earth welcomed them with open arms, reminding them that sometimes the greatest adventures lead us back to where we truly belong. Among the stars, forgotten by their creators, they drifted, not ships of metal and fire, but of flesh and bone, cradled in the cold vacuum. They were the Somniates, a generation ship meant to seed life across a galaxy. But something went wrong. Catastrophic. The automated systems failed, the crew died in their sleep, and the Somniates, the children, were left adrift, their dreams their only reality. Light years away, on a small blue planet called Earth, Dr. Eris Thorne, a radio astronomer with a penchant for the improbable, picked up a signal. It wasn't the booming call of a galactic empire or the hum of a distant star. It was a whisper, a lullaby of complex harmonies woven into a carrier wave. Eris dedicated his life to deciphering it. Years turned into decades, his hair turned gray, but he persevered, driven by a hope he couldn't explain. One evening, bathed in the glow of his monitors, it clicked. The lullaby was a language of dreams. He built a device, a dream weaver, that could translate the signal into images, sounds, emotions. What he saw shook him to his core. Children, floating in pods, dreaming of green fields, sunny skies, and loving families. A paradise that was never theirs. Eris knew what he had to do. He contacted the United Nations, presented his findings, and was met with skepticism, ridicule, and fear. Dreaming children in space? "Thorne, you finally cracked," one diplomat scoffed. But Eris was persuasive. He showed them the dreams, the innocent faces, the sheer desperation hidden beneath the lullaby. Finally, a coalition formed. Nations put aside their differences, pooling resources, technology, and expertise. The mission was unprecedented. Rescue the Somniates. Captain Eva Rostova, a veteran astronaut known for her cool head and unwavering resolve, was chosen to lead the rescue mission. She assembled a crew of engineers, doctors, linguists, and psychologists, each the best in their field. The journey was long and fraught with peril. They faced asteroid fields, solar flares, and the crushing loneliness of deep space. But the image of the dreaming children kept them going. Finally, they found it, a massive derelict ship, drifting silently in the void. The exterior was scarred and battered, a testament to its long journey, but the interior, thanks to its automated systems, was surprisingly intact. Eva and her team cautiously entered the ship, their hearts pounding in their chests. They found row upon row of pods, each containing a child, their faces serene, lost in their dreams. Dr. Lena Hansen, the team's lead psychologist, ran tests. They're alive, but their bodies are weak from prolonged stasis. Their minds, however, are incredibly active. The challenge was clear. How do you wake someone who has been dreaming for centuries? How do you introduce them to a reality that is so different from their dreams? Eris, who had insisted on joining the mission, had an idea. We use their lullaby, their language of dreams. We create a bridge between their world and ours. They modified the Dreamweaver, turning it into a dream transmitter. They broadcast images of Earth, of green forests, blue oceans, bustling cities, and smiling faces. They sent messages of hope, of welcome, of love. Slowly, one by one, the children began to stir. Their eyes fluttered open, confusion and fear etched on their faces. Lena and her team were there to comfort them, to reassure them that they were safe. One of the first to awaken was a girl named Lyra. She was small and frail, with wide, curious eyes. Lena held her hand, spoke to her in a gentle voice, telling her about Earth, about the people who had come to save them. Lyra was scared, but also curious. She asked about the blue planet, about the sun, about the people. Lena answered her questions patiently, painting a picture of a world that was both strange and wonderful. As more children awakened, the ship transformed from a silent tomb into a bustling nursery. The crew worked tirelessly, providing medical care, food, and comfort. They taught the children about Earth's history, its cultures, its languages. The Somniates were quick learners, their minds eager to absorb new information. They were fascinated by everything, from the taste of fresh fruit to the sound of laughter. But there were challenges. Some children struggled to adapt, haunted by nightmares of the past. Others were overwhelmed by the sheer complexity of the world around them. Eva realized that they couldn't simply transplant the Somniates to Earth. They needed a place where they could heal, learn, and grow at their own pace. She found a perfect location, a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. It was lush, beautiful, and far from the pressures of modern society. The island was transformed into a sanctuary. Homes were built, schools were established, and gardens were planted. The Somniates were given the space and the support they needed to rebuild their lives. Eris became a mentor to the children, sharing his knowledge of the stars, his passion for discovery. He taught them about the universe, about their origins, about the importance of hope. Lyra, now a teenager, became Eris's star student. She was fascinated by the science behind their journey, the technology that had saved them. She dreamed of becoming an astronomer, of exploring the galaxy, of finding other lost souls. Years passed. The Somniates thrived on their island sanctuary. They formed a community, a family, bound together by their shared history and their shared hope for the future. One day, Lyra stood on the beach, gazing up at the stars. She knew that their journey was far from over. They had been abandoned among the stars, but Earth had welcomed them. Now, it was their turn to reach out, to explore, to discover. She smiled, a spark of determination in her eyes. The lullaby of dreams had brought them here. Now, they would write their own song, a song of hope, of resilience, of a future among the stars. The galaxy awaited. Once upon a time, in the vast expanse of the cosmos, there existed a civilization known as the Zidonians. They hailed from a distant galaxy, their home planet a vibrant world teeming with life and advanced technology. But fate, as it often does, had a cruel twist in store for them. A cataclysmic event, a cosmic anomaly of unimaginable proportions, threatened to obliterate their entire solar system. The Zidonians, with their superior intellect, foresaw the impending doom and embarked on a desperate mission to preserve their race. They constructed a massive ark, a colossal vessel capable of housing a fraction of their population, and set course for the unknown reaches of space. Their journey was fraught with peril. They encountered cosmic storms, navigated treacherous asteroid fields, and faced a constant threat of dwindling resources. Generations were born and died aboard the ark, their lives dedicated to the singular purpose of finding a new home. After centuries of aimless wandering, hope flickered on the horizon. A lone scout ship, venturing far from the Ark, stumbled upon a blue planet, a vibrant oasis amidst the black void. It was Earth, a world teeming with life, a haven for the weary travelers. But their arrival was not met with open arms. The nations of Earth, divided by their own petty squabbles, viewed the Zidonians with suspicion and fear. The alien vessel, massive and technologically superior, loomed in orbit, casting a long shadow over the planet. Amidst the political turmoil and public unrest, a small group of scientists and diplomats saw an opportunity for collaboration, a chance to learn from a civilization far more advanced than their own. Dr. Eris Thorne, a brilliant astrophysicist, spearheaded the effort, arguing that the Zidonians, despite their alien appearance, were beings in need of help, refugees seeking a sanctuary. His pleas resonated with a few influential leaders, and a plan was hatched to welcome the Zidonians, to offer them a new home on Earth. But the task was easier said than done. The Zidonians, wary of humanity's intentions, remained aloof, their communication limited to terse exchanges. Commander Zalara, the leader of the Zidonian expedition, was a formidable figure, her face etched with the burden of leadership and the pain of her people's loss. She had witnessed the destruction of her homeworld, the deaths of countless loved ones, and she was not willing to risk the lives of her remaining people on a planet she knew little about. Dr. Thorne, however, was not easily deterred. He spent countless hours studying the Zidonian language, deciphering their complex communication system, and learning about their culture and history. He discovered that the Zidonians were a peaceful race, their technology primarily used for exploration and scientific advancement. He earned Commander Zalara's trust. He shared Earth's history, its triumphs and failures, its hopes and dreams. He showed her the beauty of Earth's landscapes, the diversity of its cultures, and the resilience of its people. Zalara, in turn, revealed the Zidonians' plight, their desperate journey, and their fear of repeating the mistakes that had led to the destruction of their home world. She explained that their technology, while advanced, was not infallible, and that they had much to learn from Earth's own scientific community. A bond formed between the two leaders, a mutual respect that transcended their cultural differences. They agreed to a limited exchange program, allowing a small group of Zidonians to visit Earth and a select group of humans to tour the Zidonian Ark. The first Zidonian delegation arrived on Earth amidst tight security and widespread media coverage. They were greeted by Dr. Thorne and a team of scientists, diplomats, and cultural ambassadors. The Zidonians, with their tall, slender frames, their iridescent skin, and their large, expressive eyes, were a sight to behold. They marveled at Earth's vibrant ecosystems, its lush forests, its vast oceans, and its towering mountains. They were fascinated by human culture, its art, its music, its literature, and its diverse traditions. The human delegation, in turn, was awestruck by the Zidonian Ark, a marvel of engineering and a testament to their technological prowess. They explored its vast hydroponic farms, its advanced research labs, and its intricate network of living quarters. The exchange program proved to be a resounding success. It dispelled many of the misconceptions and fears that had plagued both sides. The Zidonians saw that Earth was not the hostile, war-torn planet they had feared, and the humans realized that the Zidonians were not the invaders they had imagined. The two civilizations began to integrate. The Zidonians shared their advanced knowledge, helping Earth solve some of its most pressing problems, such as climate change, disease, and resource scarcity. The humans, in turn, offered the Zidonians a new home, a place to rebuild their civilization and start anew. The transition was not without its challenges. There were cultural clashes, misunderstandings, and occasional conflicts. But through open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to learn from each other, the two civilizations overcame these obstacles. Over time, the Zidonians became an integral part of Earth society. They established their own communities, contributed to the global economy, and enriched Earth's cultural landscape. They taught humans about the wonders of the universe, the importance of preserving life, and the value of unity and cooperation. Earth, in turn, welcomed the Zidonians with open arms, offering them a sanctuary, a place to call home. The two civilizations, once separated by vast distances and cultural divides, forge a bond that would endure for generations to come. And so, the Zidonians, once abandoned among the stars, found a new home on Earth, a planet that welcomed them with compassion and understanding. Their arrival marked a new chapter in human history, a chapter of interstellar cooperation, a chapter of hope for a future where different species could coexist in peace and harmony. The story of the Zidonians served as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can always be found, and that even the most disparate of civilizations can find common ground and build a better future together. The stars may have scattered them, but Earth embraced them, and in doing so, enriched itself beyond measure.